Holzer here, the co-founder of 40 Athletes. We use life skills and character through sports to transform lives through our online content. We also have a podcast that has about 109 episodes as well, where we've interviewed some of the top people in sports that talk about how to use sports to transform lives. So excited to be here today. I'm also the athletic director and PE teacher at St. Therese in Parkville up north. So excited to be here, and I will pass it on to Paul.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paul Arndorfer. I'm with Lee Summit Parks and Recreation. I'm a recreation supervisor, and I'm in charge of watching over and developing all of our youth and adult athletic leagues and sports. And let's go to Robin.
Hey there, Robin Shook. I'm an associate professor here at the Center for Children's Healthy Lifestyles at Children's Mercy. And I'm the director of the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative. Thanks everybody for coming. Let's go to Emma.
Hi, everybody. My name is Emma. I am a sales executive at the Hy-Vee Arena in the West Bottoms. So we're always looking for more ways to get involved, with the community. We have 12 basketball courts. We were kind of started as a safe space for youth to, come after school and on the weekends and stuff. So always looking for ways to get involved with youth sports and physical activity, and happy to be here and meet all you guys. Do I have to pick someone to pass it off to?
Well, yes.
Okay, I'll go with it. Shelly, you're up next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shelly Summer. I work with Robin and Natalie at Children's Mercy in the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative. So I like to attend these meetings. I support a few of the other sectors for the physical activity plan, and I'm the director of the Children's Mercy Community Garden. So happy to be here. And let's see, Matt, did you go yet?
I didn't. Nope.
Hello.
No, hello. No, it's nice to meet you guys. My name is Matt Hamer. I'm helping Bill out with some ShareWave stuff. I have kind of a longer background in nonprofit marketing, and we met and are doing some work together. So I'm here to learn and to just kind of hear what you guys are up to.
Sweet. And Natalie.
Natalie, I think you're the one that's left.
Yes, and as Shelly and Robin said, I work with them in the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative, and I support the sports sector. So if I'm staring off to the side, it's because I'm taking notes during these meetings and I send them out afterwards. And if you guys want to share any of your organization's upcoming events, I can put them in our newsletter that goes out every month. I can put my email in the chat to make that easier for you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So the other thing Natalie does is help us prepare an agenda and provide us with the opportunity to share updates. If you ever want to put anything on the agenda that you'd like to talk about, you're welcome to. The Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative has created the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan, which is a cross-sector group of civic leaders and community activists that all are committed to helping make Kansas City the most physically active, engaged community in the nation. And the work that we do is cross-collaborative. So we are the sports sector. There's 10 other sectors that all are led by different leaders and groups that meet just like we do once a month and talk about our strategic approach to trying to get Kansas City more engaged. The sports sector has focused their attention on youth sports, knowing that that is a really great way to help activate our city, is getting our kids more physically active and engaged. And I am part of a co-lead. Our co-leader is Pastor Adrian Robertson. And Adrian runs an organization called Unite KC. He's probably busy doing something that improves him as a person, because he's always busy doing something that improves him as a person. But he also runs an organization that engages with hundreds of kids in the summer and throughout the school year in different leagues and different sports opportunities. And also he is involved in STEM training for kids on weekends, helping them with school. So if you don't know anything about Unite KC, check it out. They've got a website that does a lot of great things. I know they're doing a program at Hy-Vee Arena that he wanted to talk about this morning, and that's on the agenda. So maybe Emma, if you know anything about the engagement they're having down there, maybe you can share. And then ShareWaves is also involved in bringing physical activity and exercise into kids' lives through some programs that we're doing with different fitness trainers and former athletes to bring sports and fitness training to kids who don't have it. And that's kind of been our focus for the summer, is to finding opportunities to help engage with kids throughout the city that might not have quality physical training and sports and strength and conditioning. Robin, anything you'd like to say as we kick this thing off?
No, that was great. I think, Natalie, do you want to go take us through the agenda real quick? So I think the first item was, well, I guess grouped updates. Maybe we can do some grouped updates. Is there anything just in general that the group would like to share with the others on the group, things that they might think are relevant? I know Bill was talking about KC United's event they've got coming up at Hy-Vee Arena. Emma, do you want to talk about that if you have any details?
Yeah, so we have a ton of tournaments that go on literally all the time. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't know off the top of my head what the KC United tournament is, because we have them constantly throughout the summer. But we have a lot of one-day tournaments, two-day tournaments. Right now, actually, we're doing a youth girls Nike volleyball camp. After that, we have, One Movement Hoops coming up, which is a lot of high schools around the area. We also put on, I don't know if anyone's familiar with 12 Courts, if you guys have heard about that. That is a huge tournament that we put on every winter. This winter, I think it's up to like 180 high school teams from around all surrounding states. We have people from Iowa, Illinois, Arkansas coming in, Kansas, Missouri. So that's been really great. And that is going to be a full week tournament. So that's going to be a huge thing. And we're kind of all preparing for that. But until then, we have a lot of camps, some one-dayers, some two-day tournaments, cheer stuff, dance, basketball, volleyball, you name it, we can do it here. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
When is that tournament again?
Say it again.
When is that tournament? You said it's in the winter?
Yeah, that's in December. It's called 12 Courts of Christmas. It is the week before, it's like the first week in December.
Oh,
and
cool.
It's a full week. Yeah. And we have high schoolers from all over. Like I said, neighboring states will come down. And it's going to be a fun event. It's going to be busy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad you're with us, Emma, and I'd love to engage more with you about how we can possibly do some events with you.
Absolutely. I'm always looking for opportunities to bring more people here. And I think it was interesting how somebody mentioned, like give access to PE classes and physical education, because I have been communicating with a lot of not necessarily homeschool programs, but some smaller programs, some church programs, some charter schools who do not have gyms just because of their location. Unfortunately, a huge issue that I'm running into, they say, we would love to come out there. Do you have a bus that will pick everyone up and drop us all off?
Yeah, we know
because
transportation is a big issue.
Yeah, given the nature of their organization, they don't have the funds for transportation. And unfortunately, the arena is not at the place where we have a bus ourselves to be able to go to those communities and pick those people up and bring them to us. So that's becoming kind of I don't want to say a big step back, but definitely something that I was not thinking of before I was in this position. And I'm realizing that it is a very real issue. So
definitely is. Well, you'll come to realize that we've had a lot of time over the last 2 or 3 years to think about these kinds of issues and how we might solve them. And there have been some ideas and suggestions, but one of the things that we definitely want to do is use the facility that is so great and such a part of the heart of Kansas City as a gathering place. And Adrian has just jumped on and he can maybe talk more specifically about the camp that he's doing at Hy-Vee Arena this summer with over 60 kids. We want to definitely nurture the relationship with you and find ways to
Absolutely.
work together. So
Absolutely.
Adrian, do you want to share about what's happening with Hy-Vee Arena and all your kids?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Good to see you. Yeah, this is our 7th annual STEM Summer Sports and Arts Camp. This is our 4th year. We're down on 136.
Yes, you guys, I actually can hear you right now as I speak.
Yeah, they're there, and I'm at home. Praise Jesus. No, but I digress. Yeah, it's a great facility, and like I said, we've been blessed to use it the last couple of years. Use the use of multiple rooms. I will say one of the challenges is not, and this is one of the we're finding, and it's just the nature where it's at.
Yeah, please share.
Those little bugs. We're not little; they're about that long.
The cockroaches, I'm literally so embarrassed.
I mean, no, but it's just real. I mean, because I had one. I sprayed him so much, he literally went like, like give me more. I've never seen. I'm dead serious. And so we've used. I mean, I got staff that's like, bro, I don't, because usually we're up in the up.
So let me just say, when I got employed at the Hy-Vee Arena, I had never seen a roach as big. Like, I was absolutely shocked. I can't crush them because they're too big for me to crush. It would be like killing a small bird. So I completely understand your disgust. I sincerely apologize. We have traps everywhere, but I have just been told that in massive, huge old basements, there's unfortunately not a whole lot we can do. So.
Yeah, and then where our room is there's like 8 what you call underground water pipes that run up to the room. And so we've tried everything from ortho. Ortho seems to work. That's the only setback. Other than that, it's been amazing. Chris.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that. I am so sorry that you have had to deal with that. And
that's all right. I mean, it's all right.
I'm going to tell my building owners, because I mean, I always pass along feedback to them, and maybe there's something else in the works that they've been waiting for one more complaint and they'll try it. So I will share that with them.
I'll also say, understanding that it's right there next to the river.
Yeah.
I know Chris, and we didn't take all that into consideration until it happened last year. And it was like, wow, what is that? Like, where? Because I mean, I've seen roaches. I ain't never seen them like that. And
oh my God, you're literally like, it's not that bad, everybody. It's just a cockroach.
No. I'm talking about the size of them. I mean, I've never seen one with wings. So that's all I'm saying.
Bro,
but I'm not trying to run everybody away. I'm just telling you that Chris is busting his behind to fix it. That's what I'm trying to
say.
Yeah.
I mean, when I tell you we have traps everywhere, we have exterminators spray. It's just, awesome. I mean, it's like it's disgusting, but it's like they crawl out of the concrete.
Right. Hey. And if you're on the court, if you're upstairs and you're active, you won't see them. But if you're in those rooms, that's all I'm gonna say to that.
All right.
I love Hy-Vee. I mean, there's no other place in the city where we can bring kids from KCK and Kansas City, Missouri. They can get STEM, yoga, jujitsu. We're doing Level Up this year with the video games. We partnered with Level Up.
Yeah.
The kids learning how to code video games. Then they get physical activity, and so it's a full month thing. But we love Hy-Vee, and ain't planning on going nowhere, even with the challenges that they have. So I'm not trying to gross nobody out. I'm just telling you. Yet it just is what it is. So
always bringing the real, Pastor.
I don't know no other way, man. But Emma, thank you. I mean, it's really a blessing to be there. And
well, we're very happy to have you guys.
All right.
It's a great facility. So
hey, Pastor Roberson, I have a question for you.
Talk to me, Jason.
Well, first of all, it sounds like God whenever you speak. So I just felt like I got like blessed by God whenever I hear your voice. But is there, like, you have programming for kids, and we want kids to be active, and that's all good. the question is, with parents being the number one influence on their kids and the biggest example, what kind of education, resources, training are parents getting? Because I've taught in charter schools for 7 years, kind of like
Yeah.
actually by where Hy-Vee Arena is at, and that, and you can teach the kids all these things, but if their
Right.
environment at home where they're going to isn't also being shifted,
Yeah,
you're almost like,
yeah. That's a great
Also-
question, Jason. We have a program called Game Changers. So we got it's a four, if you think of a stool, we've got 4 legs. So we got our spring and fall after school reading and math, physical education. Summertime, we have STEM, physical activity, and then we got a football league. Game Changers is the parent piece where we have counselors and we have a dedicated person to bring the parents in like once a week. We feed them, we give them like gift cards, and we just get them to buy into what we're doing, if that makes sense. Because 80% of the kids from our summer program are returning kids. So in KCK, for example, the parents have to bring them to the bus stop. And you're right, transportation is a pain in the butt. However,
Yes.
we've got a partnership with the school district where we've got a dedicated bus driver, picks them up in the morning, the parents drop the kids off, takes them down to Hy-Vee, bus picks them up, takes them back to the drop off, and the parents pick them up. And then we do this huge celebration and we celebrate the parents. So one thing that we did in the spring was we gave every parent that supported their kids by bringing them, we gave them a certificate. And then we introduced them to the Game Changers piece, which deals with the social emotional stuff, wraparound services. And I'd say right now we've got 12 intently engaged parents out of 60. And I hear you, Jason, that's huge. You know what I mean? Nowadays, to get a parent to do that is huge. And even today, a parent called, can you please come pick up my son? Da, 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 da. So I went and picked him up because it's on the way to where the bus is. And she is very, very, very engaged, but she's just running into some hard times. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that Game Changers piece is just working with some local counselors and some folks in the school district and some folks that's been working with parents for a while. So I'll gladly send all of Dola's information and to everybody here. And it's going to be hard at first because, like I said, this is year 13, and we're just now getting Game Changers to where the parents are telling other parents. At first, we thought we were feeding them. Well, you feed them, they're gonna come. Then we start giving them gift cards. Then I can tell you, we had one mom that stayed in the program who moved out of Section 8. She moved out of Gateway and ended up buying her a house, and she's now in Johnson County. But I don't know what we were doing. We really didn't know what we were doing other than we were really just loving on these parents, because almost 89% of them are single moms, 2.93 kids. So it's just trying to meet them where they are. You know what I mean? So it's only by God's grace that it's working at this, and we're happy to get these 10 to 12 parents, but we're willing to share, and Dola and Dr. Miller can tell you what they do. They just love on the parents. That's all they do. They just love on them and try to meet where they are.
And it's the type of thing where it's really a matter of how well that we can fund the access to different types of programs to these parents. And funding's, all the money that Pastor Roberson raises goes to the kids, a majority of it. And then to try to carve out a little bit of money for the parents and then try to figure out what needs to be said and done to help the parents take steps forward. It's just a really difficult situation. And, we're kind of getting down in the weeds here, guys, but, and that's not what this meeting's about, but I do really appreciate the conversation. I think it basically shows why we exist and why this Kansas City Physical Activity Plan has so many incredible opportunities to enrich Kansas City, using physical activity as kind of the Trojan horse to get into people's lives and make change. It's really an exciting opportunity for us.
And let me close with this, Bill. One thing that you'll find out, we made up our minds 4 years ago that we would no longer be a free entity. So, okay, Pastor Adrian, what do you mean? we believe that in our community, free doesn't guarantee participation. It just doesn't. We believe in putting some skin in the game. So we charge $25 for a 4-week camp, not every week, but for 4 weeks, where they get hot breakfast, an amazing lunch, t-shirts, and amazing training. And every week they go on a field trip. Last week they went to Hallmark Cards. This week they're going to Science City. Next week they're going to iFly. So the parents are like, wait a minute, my kid is getting what? And if we have parents that have like 3 or 4 kids, then we scholarship. But most parents are seeing the benefit of skin in the game, if that makes sense. And it's been very surprising and exhilarating when most of the systems that are in the culture that we're in are like, the expectancy is gimme, gimme, gimme. But there are a lot of parents that are really trying to break that, what we call the poverty mindset. It's a beautiful thing, you know what I mean? So, and we stand on that. And then we have this huge celebration. I'll invite you guys to, I think it's the 29th of this year. We're going to be at Hy-Vee, big old celebration. And you can literally see, we call it the month of transformation. You can see all the parents that come out and they're crying when their kids graduate. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
So I'll send it to you and you guys can come.
That'd be great.
And we'd love, if you need anything, I'll be glad to send it to you, but it works.
Paul, do you have anything to add to this? Obviously, your perspective is on the other side of the whole city, but are you experiencing some similar things, and what's happening with your kids and your engagement?
You know, we're seeing numbers rise across the programs that we run, which kind of goes like our girls basketball program is exploding, which if we looked at the school numbers, doesn't make sense because the numbers are going down in the elementary schools, but yet they're rising with us. We're in a unique area, of course, but also with Parks and Rec, a lot of our stuff is done through our sports associations. You know, we have our baseball association, the Lee Summit Softball Association, LSJBA for basketball, for football. So we don't directly monitor all those numbers and stuff like that, but I will tell you that we do have meetings. You know, we have quarterly meetings where we get together with all the associations, and everything's rising. Of course, the cost of stuff is going up and up. And even though Lee Summit is looked at as an affluent community, we still get a lot of people that complain about, you know, pricing and stuff like that, try to keep costs down. So that is something that very important as well. We're running our camp summit our summer camp right now here. We have over 600 kids enrolled in that daily. Same type of deal where we do a field trip every other day or so forth. They go to Summit Waves every day too, just trying to keep those kids engaged and something to do instead of staying at home alone.
Well, thank you for that. Thanks for the work you're doing. And I think the partnership with Parks and Rec is so vital to the sports sector and what we do. And I think there's a lot of crossover and a lot of opportunities for us to utilize, you know, the Parks and Rec system within Casey, Missouri, in the outlying areas as we move forward. And as we talk about the next steps of what the sports sector is trying to get accomplished this summer, and through the research that we're trying to do, you'll see that there's some roles for you to play in helping inform us and possibly being a conduit to get to parents and to kids to do some surveying and some research in the areas to help really inform us as we form our plan to do better by kids.
Most definitely. If there's anything directly that you want, just let me know, and I can find out from the associations and stuff like that.
Well, on the agenda, you'll see, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move through the agenda here. So,
Okay.
Shelley, do you have anything to add, or Robin, anything that you'd like to add with introductions and group updates? I've got one more thing. Okay. So the final thing is that I'm working on a pickleball event on August 10th. I just want everyone to know about. And then it's the Kansas City Pickleball Championships at Chicken and Pickle. They're actually giving us the whole facility, and we are inviting different groups to come and be a part of that as our co-hosts. And the Kansas City Physical Activity Sports Sector is going to be invited along with KC United. I haven't had a chance to really talk to Adrian about it yet, but we've got some artwork that's almost ready to share, and we're getting it finalized today, and we'll have websites and places where people can engage. But I'm super excited about the opportunity to raise money for these kinds of activities, these kinds of organizations that help kids with sports. So more to come. Okay. I think we're ready to do an Aspen Institute update, Robin, and you and I had a chance to meet with Jennifer Lerner Brown from the Aspen Institute and talk to her a little bit about timing and scheduling and where we're at. And we're starting to form a group of advisors that we're adding to that all the time. And would love to just have you kind of cover that for us, if you will.
Yeah, so updates on the Aspen Institute project. We're still right on track to formally begin in August. So a couple months from now. Contract should be approved. We've been working on that within Children's Mercy for a couple months now. So that should be approved actually this week. I'm anticipating that. So that's an exciting step there. So for those of you that maybe are new to this meeting and haven't, or maybe have missed a few meetings, maybe Natalie, can you plop some Aspen Institute community profiles into the chat for us? So this will be a partnership that starts in August. It's going to last for about 9 or 10 months. In the fall, we will be working in partnership with the Aspen Institute to collect original data through the what they call a youth survey. They have like a standardized survey. And this is distributed through places. Schools are the big ones, but really any organization that has kids that are regular members and that, you have like a distribution list, totally would be happy for you guys to help us send out that survey. So keep that kind of in the back of your mind for what will happen in the fall. We will also be in the fall sharing with them data we've collected over the past few years. Most of that data that is available in our report card that you can find on our website. So we'll be sharing that data with them. They'll put it all together in early spring 2024. They are going to host a day-long Kansas City Youth Sports Summit. Going to be a big event where we bring in all the different stakeholders in youth sports to one place to go over the preliminary results of the data collection and to talk about next steps when everyone's in the room. And then about a year from now, the actual published report will be released by the Aspen Institute. There's a lot of great elements to partnering with the Aspen Institute on this. We're going to get good data, really good, clear next steps. It's also going to serve, I think, as a catalyst for the region on how we address youth sports collectively. So very excited about that. As Bill mentioned, we've kind of have different layers of groups that will be informing the process around the Aspen Institute partnership. So we're kind of going to have a core group of about 10 people. And then outside of that, the next layer is going to be people like you. So my assumption is that we will use the monthly sports sector meetings as kind of like a sounding board for what the Aspen is going to be doing in the fall. So we'll be talking about things, like the survey and the survey questions and how we distribute it and things like that. So please keep us this monthly meeting on your calendar, because this is the best way to get updates on those types of things.
I don't think we can overhype this step forward for the sports sector. I think it's absolutely humongous that the Aspen Institute is coming to Kansas City. They are a 75-year-old organization that brings together the brightest people in the nation to try to solve the most difficult problems we face. And 10 years ago, they took on the state of play. And in 2016, they produced the state of play report for all of America. And they came up with 8 challenges and 8 solutions. These challenges will just ring true when you read them, because you know that these are the problems. Transportation is one of them. It's the fact that we forgot to ask kids what they wanted out of sports. The fact that we don't have free play like we used to when we were kids. The fact that we've shut down community leagues, the fact that our coaching is a volunteer coaching base, and we've lost sight of what it is that a coach is supposed to do for kids. And they've really taken it on their initiative. And Natalie and I had the opportunity to go to the Project Play Summit this spring in Colorado Springs and really kind of hear from the leadership of what they're trying to do. They're trying to rewrite the way America looks at youth sports, because we feel like that the way that we've produced a pay for play model and created this grab for money at all levels of youth sports has really damaged our kids in a way that they're dropping out of sports in record numbers, and they're not getting this incredibly enriching opportunity to engage with sports and athletics and all that it can teach. And so having the Aspen Institute come to Kansas City is like, it's really like having, the World Cup of organizations coming to our city. And on top of that, having the World Cup come, there's an opportunity for us to transform our city with youth sports if we can convince the World Cup committee to take youth sports on as one of their initiatives. And they are looking to do 4 or 5 monumental things to change our city: transportation, education. And if we can convince them that one of those 4 or 5 pillars that they take on is youth sports, and we become, we use the World Cup to become the central youth sports, example of what we can do, having the Aspen Institute with that research underlying that just gives us this incredible opportunity that as we build this. And I don't want to undersell it. I think we should all be really excited about it. My hope is that the sports sector meeting continues to grow. We invite more and more people to this. We should have 50 to 100 people on this call every month talking about how we are making changes to change kids' lives with the power of sports. And I really appreciate you all coming on, but I just wanted to be that evangelistic cheerleader for this Aspen Institute opportunity, and really thank Robin and his team for making this happen, because it is, it's spearheaded by this Kansas City Fiscal Activity Plan and what their desire is and what they've desired for many, many years. And we're excited to be a part of it.
Anybody have any questions about the Aspen project?
So how are they going to collect their data? Where are they going to go? Like,
Yeah,
what
so like I
areas are they
said,
looking-
yeah, so like I said, the primary source of data collection is, and if you go to the link that Natalie pasted, you can read some of the other state of plays. Though I've got a couple copies here, and you can see some of the data they collect. Most of the data is going to be from what they call a youth survey. It's about a 20-question survey that they distribute about 1,000 kids. I don't think we've talked about the sample size yet. I think in other cities it's around 1,000 kids that they're distributing this through, and it's through a variety of sources. School districts are a big one, but then it really could be like the Parks and Rec League, or Brookside Soccer Registration League, or Brookside Soccer, we use the contact info from registration to distribute it, survey through that. So we'll talk about those distribution methods later in the fall, but that's where the bulk of the data is going to come from. The rest of the data they get from other sources. Some are like publicly available. Others are data, like, for example, they're going to use some of our data from Children's Mercy that we've collected. So we'll share that with them as well. So it'll come from a variety of sources. The heart of it, though, is that youth survey. So you're going to hear a lot more about that for the next year. for good or for bad, we think it's for good, but we'll be talking about this a lot coming up. Any other questions about Aspen Institute? If not, I can move on to the next agenda item, which is another project that is currently ongoing. And speaking of data for the Aspen Institute project, this is one of the sources of the data that we'll share with them. We are doing a physical activity mapping project right now. So what that means is we've partnered with UMKC Center for Nonprofit Leadership to essentially identify every single youth physical activity program in the region. It's a huge, huge undertaking. I mean, this is going to be, hundreds and hundreds of programs. So the process has started. It started in April, I believe. We should be scheduling very soon a kind of preliminary look at the report. That meeting hasn't been scheduled yet. But if you are interested in joining us to review the preliminary data, we would love to have the more people attend that meeting, the merrier. And what that meeting will entail is the UMKC, our UMKC partners will share their findings, say, we've identified this many programs doing this many things, and here's their location. And we want people to look at it and say, that's great. I know that you're missing these 5 programs in Clay County. I know that you're missing these 2 groups that fund youth sports scholarships, in Jackson County, things like that. So if you are interested in attending that meeting, that's probably going to happen in July, you can just send Natalie a message and she'll kind of add you to our list of invitees for that meeting. It'll take probably 2 hours and we'll probably give you lunch. So if you're just hungry and want a free lunch, that's fine too. Then that process should probably finish up in August, more likely September. So right when we're kicking off the Aspen Institute project, and we can share that data with the Aspen Institute, and they can help say, look, we're asking kids what sports they want to play, and 85% want to play hockey, but there are 3 hockey leagues in town, for example. There's a big gap for hockey in Kansas City. I just made that up, but that's the type of thing that we're going to get, use we'll get from that data. Any questions about that project? The next item on the agenda is the Move Your Way campaign. I'm going to actually turn this over to either Shelley or Natalie because they know more about this, I think, than me.
Cool. Well, I can add a little bit. So
okay, yeah, go for it.
The National Youth Sports Strategy was published in 2019 by Health and Human Services. It's a 112-page document that basically focuses on participation in youth sports as a key to helping kids. And the Move Your Way is a program that has kind of fed off of that. COVID kind of sidelined their attention to the National Physical Activity Plan or National Youth Sports Strategy because Health and Human Services was more focused on helping people stay safe than they were, promoting this strategy. But there are over 4,000 organizations that are part of the National Youth Sports Strategy Champions. And ShareWaves is proud to be one of those groups that we are an NYSS champion. And it's the whole idea with the National Youth Sports Strategy is to get more kids involved in playing sports. And so the Move Your Way is kind of an offshoot of that. And then Shelley or Natalie, you can add to that.
Natalie, what are we looking at here?
I put the link in the bottom. This is their platform for submitting videos. So they make it pretty easy. I kind of messed around with it myself. If you open the link in your phone, then you can just do it right on your phone. And they are just like little, most of them are like 20 to 40 seconds. They sometimes share things about their organizations, which I think would be good for Kansas City to like promote youth physical activity in Kansas City and the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. And you say why your organization does what they do and how they get people active in our community.
Right. So it's mostly kind of like a TikTok, right?
Years old. And I'm Barbara. I'm 62. Susan started a Ruby Senior Citizens Dance Team called the Pacemakers. We're ages 60 to 84, and we dance everywhere to show that you can still move at any age. And despite being older, we are having so much fun, and we want to show you how we dance our way. Yep. We love you to dance with your way. So come check us out. You don't have to be climbing Mount Everest or be an Olympic athlete to be a healthy senior. You just have to move. So move your way. We're pacemakers and we dance with fun.
Fun.
Yeah, so if you get selected, they will put the branding on it and post it on the website and across their social media platforms during the campaign period. It also will be shareable to you once they do that too, so you can share it on your own organization social media pages.
Sweet.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And some of these things I'll be the first to admit, I think can be kind of silly, but I will say that this is one of those things. Kansas City really is getting recognized for their role in promoting sports, youth sports, and physical activity. I mean, people, when I go to national conferences, people say, oh my gosh, I just heard about this happening in Kansas City and that happening about Kansas City. And like, this is just another way that we can kind of showcase all the strengths and diversity of programs that we've got in our region. So
Love it.
let us know if you have any other questions. And
one more
yeah.
thing with that, I was reading their sharing policy, and if you include kids, they can't share any personal information. So don't have them like say my name is so-and-so from Kansas City if they're under age 13.
Great, thanks. Let's see. I was we have an upcoming webinar. Let's see, Natalie, do you know much about the webinar listed in the agenda?
So the President's Council on Sports Fitness and Nutrition is having their first meeting on the 27th of June, and it is open to the public if you were interested in attending. And I'll put the link. Well, did that not work? There we go. So they're going to be discussing priorities, including how to best support federal efforts for engaging local communities to coordinate efforts to promote health through physical activity, sport, and nutrition during that meeting. Another one that's coming up is the Healthy People 2030 webinar series. They're going to give progress updates on 3 of the Healthy People objectives. And one of those relates to sports. It's on how to increase the proportion of children and adolescents who participate on sports and take sports lessons or after school in the week or on the weekends. Let me get that link.
Cool.
And
I'll post that.
I added
Oh, go
one-
ahead.
I added one more this morning for your presentation. So if you want to
Yes.
support Dr. Shook's presentation, he's giving a talk for the Physical Activity Alliance webinar series.
Yeah, so the Physical Activity Alliance is the parent organization of the National Physical Activity Plan. So, you know, we're kind of we're kind of like the child of the National Physical Activity Plan in Kansas City. So excited to be sharing about. Yeah, I guess she posted the registration info, but there's also a Twitter page for it. So we'll be talking about how we came up with the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan and all that we're doing. So join that. That's on next Wednesday at, I think, 1 o'clock. So very excited to be doing that. Share with anyone you might feel would enjoy it. And then I think that was, oh, yeah. Okay. The only other thing, it looks like we've reached the end of the agenda. I forgot one update that I was going to share. Some of you may have seen this. The Shut Out the Stigma campaign. This has been around for, I think, a couple years. Through the Royals and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas City. They've added some new pieces specifically around youth sports and mental illness. There's a lot of really great things on the website, more than I'm aware of. But if you're interested in that, obviously mental health is probably the most important health topic of our time right now. So if you're interested in, I think there's some good things, some good local information on that website.
The coolest part of that campaign is they had letters written by kids to their parents, telling their parents that they needed to be quiet in the stands because they were embarrassing them. And they
I saw
posted
that.
these
That's
letters throughout the community at different facilities. They're huge. They're like 12-foot tall letters from kids that say, "Dear Mom and Dad, I really appreciate all your support in my sport, but could you please not embarrass me from the stands? Or put pressure on me," or, you know, they say different, they have different themes, but these structures are going to travel too. They're going to be in different places. I don't know if the Lee Summit Parks and Rec have had any opportunity to bring one to one of your facilities, but they're pretty eye-catching, and they send a pretty strong message that parents need to control themselves in the stands. So anyway.
Yeah, it's really powerful. There's let's see, there's, you know, I think there's a documentary that they're releasing soon, built around those letters, and it's a pretty powerful stuff.
It is. It's good.
Yeah. Feel free to share. Anything else, Natalie, on the agenda?
I don't think so.
Anyone else have anything they want to share with the group? Oh, Adrian, go ahead.
You think I got as much zooming as I do? I'd figure this darn mute button out after all this time. I need to send you all a flyer. There, I don't know how you know knew of a gentleman by the name of Broderick Crawford, who passed away. He passed away. I'm looking at his obituary because I keep it on my hero wall. November 2022. He was a huge advocate for health equity here in Wyandotte County. He passed in November of 2022, and they're looking to build a basketball court park area right there by New Bethel Church. And so they're having their first, going to be a huge community 4K walk, all that And it's a 3-on-3 basketball tournament that's going to be for Broderick. It's going to be June the 24th. This is strictly going to be for adults this time, just to try to get it out there and get more of a mixture of people. But then also, I'll send you the information if anyone wants to come and set up a table for information, all that. They're going to have food and music, and it's all just to remember Mr. Broderick Crawford. And so I'll get that out to Shelley and Robin, and then they can send it out to you. But it's June the 24th. It's an all-day thing, food trucks, the whole nine. So I will send it out to you. If you don't know anyone, I think they're still trying to pick up about 6 more teams to come in and play. And it's all free. Everything is all free. So I want to share that.
Yeah,
with you.
please share that. I hadn't heard about that. Broderick was a powerful voice in health in the region. So,
Hey, Robin, question for you. So with what you mentioned about like what they're doing with the kids that wrote letters to the parents about not embarrassing me and that kind of stuff, like, is there, with emotional intelligence and mental health being such a key component now, like, and especially with parents too, because is there something that we could put on the agenda about, what would a plan in place look like to get parents to understand the importance of handling themselves emotionally and the effects it has on their kid whenever they don't, like really get in front of parents and say, hey, look, and then give them the facts too, like, hey, 11,000 people play professional sports. There's 330 million people in America. So if you're freaking out because you're worried about your kid going pro, like your priorities are all in the wrong section, right? So I think like helping parents, maybe not necessarily that are, that need help us from a financial standpoint, but just from a, like, they have the means, they have the affluency, but stop putting so much pressure on your kid and just let them go play.
it's a great question, Jason. And I think everyone here is incredibly interested in doing this type of work and figuring out what we can do to support kids and parents. I'll be honest, we haven't really found any good ways to do that. This is something that I think is quite promising. We're not involved with it in any way, but maybe we can do some digging and seeing if we can get someone that's involved with this campaign to come to this meeting, a future meeting, and they can tell us a little bit more about how we can use the things that they've developed and take advantage of those resources. And that could be a very achievable kind of something that we could try to accomplish in the next
I'll reach out to Michaela Stevenson and see if she'll join us. And Emily Snow would probably join us too.
Who are those people?
So Michaela is the Director of Community Engagement for Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Okay.
And she's and then Emily Snow is is Blue Cross and Blue Shield's behavioral health specialist.
Yeah, great. That'd be great. And then just kind of longer term, I don't want to say we're like in a holding pattern, but we are kind of waiting for the Aspen Institute project to happen for us to get like a formalized set of strategies and tactics around addressing this issue within the sports sector. So I anticipate that being one of the outcomes, but realistically, it's going to be a year from now before we're at that point. But in the next year, we certainly should be doing all that we can to see what's out there and what's working and what's not.
Yeah. Great
question.
The reason why I asked is because I had 40 athletes. We put together some programs for parents and then that kind of stuff as well, just to educate them on it and content, and then partnered with a lady that does parent coaching, emotional intelligence training, and she's one of the best out there, like globally. So I say that because, you know, we'd be happy to front that training if you can get parents. The key is getting parents up a certain place. You get parents somewhere to show up, then, you know, we'd be happy to help as much as we can too. So.
Well, maybe we can kind of put you on the spot, and like at the next meeting, would you mind giving us like a 10-minute overview
Sure.
to the group?
Yeah.
And then we can also talk about, you know, seeing, you know, talking about the shut out the stigma one as well, or that can be, you know, I don't know if it'll be next month, but
I'll work on it.
Yeah.
And maybe someone from the Royals, maybe we'll get Lewis Mays to come.
yeah, for sure.
And he used to work for Nike, so he's got some good, probably insights.
The last thing, and I'm trying to looks like I can't send it, so maybe we'll put it in the notes. But the last thing is we are for a separate project, we're looking, we want to get what we're trying to develop a referral system from healthcare organizations out to community organizations for youth physical activity programming. So like if you take your kid to their well child visit and they're not getting enough physical activity, the physician can say, okay, well, you live, you know, by the West Bottoms, here is Hy-Vee Arena, and they offer, you know, 12 different leagues and all these things. Or, you know, you live in Kansas City, Kansas, here's KC United, it's $25 for a summer youth program, blah, blah, blah. As part of this, we want to get feedback from organizations that offer programming on what that might look like, whether they have a need for it, things like that. If you're interested in joining this one single hour focus group, you can send, since Natalie's email is in the chat already, you can send Natalie an email and we'll invite you to that focus group. It hasn't been scheduled yet. It'll probably occur within the next 4 weeks. We don't know, it could be in person, it could be virtual. But if that's something that you're interested in, please join us. I'll include information on that in the meeting minutes that come out, since I can't share it in the chat right now. But it's going to be big, you know, if we can establish those links to partners like yours, I think it'll help everyone, both the kids and families and groups and community groups like yours. So.
Well, thank everyone for joining us today. Great meeting. The substance and the quality of conversation was incredible. I wish we would have had more people join us. Invite your friends. This is one of those meetings every month where we're just going to get more and more information that's positive and better for all of us. And the more we can bring to the table, the more people we can bring to the table, the more we can get done in our city with physical education and exercise for kids. So appreciate you all. Pastor, anything else closing us out? We pray for us all.
Father, we thank you for this amazing opportunity to come together to serve our multitude of communities that desperately need it. For the children, youth, and families who are looking for help in so many ways, you give us this thing called sport. And then you've designed us so it doesn't have to be just one type of sport. It can be a multiplicity of sports. And so I thank you for everyone that is here, for those who wanted to come but who couldn't. But I ask that you bless everyone that said yes to this meeting today. Bless them with finances and resources and volunteers and people, just to put a smile on a child's face and to change a lot of the negative data into some positive data to help develop and grow a generation. With this, as we leave this place but not your presence, we say thank you for everything you're doing and everything that you've done. And I ask it all in Jesus' name, amen.
And cast out the cockroaches at Hy-Vee Arena. Thank you.
Yeah, they can go to where it's hot after they pass away. I'm okay with that, as long as
now I gotta take Emma out for a drink and a cigar or something, because I'm feeling really bad, because I'm like,
I'm
put her
about
on
to text
blast like
Brad and
that.
Chris right now. We have an issue.
Oh, Chris, no. Tell me, Chris, no, I'm just playing. Hey, it's good
Thank
to
you,
see y'all.
guys. Thank
See
you,
y'all,
everyone.
man. Thank y'all.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.